Keynote is a wonderful tool for students to explore app prototyping. By creating their own basic app, students are encouraged to think about a range of design principles in addition to basic coding principles. One problem that we do run into though is when we launch presentation mode, Keynote is designed to advance to the next slide by tapping the screen. This is far from ideal as the experience of the UI becomes unrealistic. In this video, we'll show how to use a transparent shape overlay to overcome this issue, enabling Keynote to align more closely with the intended user interface experience. So one of the problems we run into when we're using Keynote to create an app prototype is that when we go into play and we want it to act like a real game, we use the links. Sometimes what can happen is that everyone can just click anywhere else on the screen apart from your links and it'll just advance to the next slide. So they don't really have to follow all the links, and it just doesn't, I suppose, emulate exactly that game sense that they're really trying to achieve by prototyping. And there's one way around it that I've found, and it basically involves overlaying a transparent shape over the top of your slides. So first I'm going to show you how what I mean by how this works now after I've done that, and then I'm going to unpack how I created it. So if this was my game here, you'll notice if I tap anywhere else on the slide, on the screen, that it doesn't advance. I have to actually come down here to my level 1 or level 2 before it happens. Now, just a bit of a caveat, because we've chosen the slide size to be this, for some reason, or one reason or another, I'm not sure why, anywhere outside on this black screen, if the students were to touch that, or if I was to touch that, it would advance. So even though I've created a shape that goes well outside of it, I trialed that, putting the invisible shape go well outside, and it still didn't make a difference. Anywhere that there's that transparent part of the screen, it will just click to advance the next slide. So that's a bit of caveat. You just have to make sure that you instruct your students to tap inside the active screen in order for it to work properly. So after a little bit of toing and froing and getting my game all sorted, when I was finished with my game in its entirety, then I went and put this overlay on. So it just means that anywhere else I tap doesn't work until I come down to, say, my level 1 here. Same on this screen. I have to tap level 1 in order to go. Is it an odd number? If I tap up on the question, you'll notice it's not working. Anywhere else on the screen, not working. Home will obviously take me back to the start of level 1, which is cool. But anywhere else on the screen is not going to work unless I go to my links here. Is it an odd number? No, it's not. It lets me go. So same on this screen. If I tap anywhere else on the screen, apart from my arrow to take me to my next question, then it'll just remain on that screen. Go through this one. That's what that MAB block represents. And now I've finished that level. I can go to level 2. And on level 2, why is that an odd number? And you just go through and make sure your game actually is doing the intended purpose as the design. And that would be the end of my game there. So that was just showing that how my demo works. And now I'm going to talk about the step-by-step that I used in order to put that transparent overlay over it in order so that they can't tap the screen to advance. Well, what I did is I overlaid a shape, as I mentioned. Now I've gone through and removed it from this particular slide deck, and I'm just going to show you how I went about adding it. So if I go anywhere on this page at the moment, and instead of pressing level 1 or level 2, if I just tap anywhere, it's going to take me to the next one. Now that's not what we want to do. We want to be able to make sure our app is doing exactly what we want it to do. So in order to overcome it, I'm going to put a transparent shape over. So I'm going to come to my media, select a square, but I'm going to make it a rectangle. You notice I'll just make it slightly larger than what my actual screen is. My slide size, should I say, not the screen. Now, a couple of things to notice. Obviously, I'm going to make it transparent, but then also the main thing is to layer it correctly. So I'm going to make it transparent. So I'll go to my style, go to my fill, and add no fill. Okay, I've got no borders, got nothing on that at all. So it's just literally a transparent shape. At the moment, it's overlaid over everything else. What you'll notice then, if I've done it correctly, is if I tap on anything else on the screen, because my transparent shape is the most forward of all the shapes, so it's layered to the front amongst all the other shapes, then I can't get to those other shapes until I move this back. Now this is really good in terms of that critical thinking and that purposeful planning out and mapping out of the order in which the students need to layer or arrange their different assets or shapes that they add to their screen, including the links. So first of all, before I go too much further, I'm going to link this because I want people to, if they tap on it, I want it to stay on this screen. So I'm just going to go to I'll just remove the mouse for a sec. Tap on it and go to link. And now I'm just going to link, and I'm going to link it to this slide, which is slide number 1. So I'm just going to make sure I link it to this slide. So every time I put the overlay on, I want it to link to that particular slide. So that's linked, I'm happy with that. But now I need to remove it, I need to move it and arrange it a bit further back so that I can, when I'm actually playing this game live, I can click and still access these buttons here. At the moment, this transparent shape is stopping me from accessing these buttons. So I'm going to go up to I've still got my transparent shape selected. You can see the blue handles around it. I'm going to go to the format tool, and I'm going to go to arrange here. And you'll notice for every asset I add, whether it's media, whether it's a shape, whether it's a chart, it has each of those different marks show a different asset that's on the screen. Now, apart from level 1 and level 2, every other asset that I have there, I want to be behind my invisible shape. So I'm just going to come here and just move the slider back a little bit, and then I'm just going to come out and double check if I can get to any of that. So I get to the level 2 one, my level 1 one I can't access still, it's still hidden behind my transparent shape. And the reason that is because I'm using a live video for this, and that's added an extra element or an extra layer or an asset into my slide here. So I've still got it selected with the blue handles around it, my transparent shape, my overlay shape. Go to my format tool, I'm just going to move it back one more place. And now you'll notice I have access to both of these. Whenever I'm working with this, I love to try it. I love to do what I think is going to work, and then actually go press the play button and be like, hey, did this achieve what I wanted it to achieve? So I've pressed the play button. What I'm hoping now is when I tap everywhere else on the screen, it doesn't advance, unless I come down and tap on one of my level 1 or level 2. So I'm stoked with that. That worked perfect. What I would do then, rather than have to double handle or triple handle anything, once I've done it for my first slide, I would copy it. So come and copy it. Then I would go down to my next slide, tap on the screen and press paste. Now what you're going to find is that it's overlaid because it's the latest asset or the newest asset you've added to that slide. It's going to arrange it to be right at the front again. So you are going to have to come in and you are going to have to add those little layers of it there, or not add the layers, sorry, you have to arrange it correctly. So I'm going to come back, my shape selected, come back, arrange it to just in behind, so it's actually, it'll be the very last thing on this particular page because my home button and my level 1, I want to be active, I want to be able to touch it. So that's done. You can choose to lock it in place if you wish, don't really have to. The other thing I'm going to do after I've arranged it is I'm going to tap on the link and just see what the link settings are. So at the moment it's saying link that to slide 1. So if I tap anywhere else, it's going to take me back to slide 1. I want it to stay on this particular slide, so I'm going to link it to slide 2. And then it's just a matter of systematically going back through my Keynote deck then and adding that shape, that transparent shape across all of my slides and arranging them accordingly. Make sure you do this at the very end. It's the last thing you're going to do when your game has been created. If you do it along the way, it's just going to be a little bit time consuming, and you'll have to constantly change the links every time you add new slides and things like that. So I would keep this step until the very end. When the prototype, the student or yourself are really happy with your prototype, then you come and add this in just to finalise your game and clean it all up so it works as you intended to. All right, hope that helped, and yeah, really look forward to seeing what you create with your app prototypes.